In Chapter 7, we're going to talk about your credit. Part 1 is obtaining and protecting your credit. Some of the objectives are to explain the concept of consumer credit, including major types and their benefits and drawbacks, and describe the keys to building and maintaining healthy credit. And we're also going to identify ways to protect your identity. Here are some key terms that we're going to go through. You can probably identify some. Maybe some are going to be new to you. A little situation. As she sat in the sales office, Nancy opened her checkbook and peered sadly again at the balance. She knew the figure was not going to change, but she wanted it to. The car she had chosen cost more than she had in her account. It was perfect. It was a very good deal, and she needed a vehicle for college. Yet in spite of the fact that she has been saving money for 3 years, it was still a little short. Should she try to borrow the difference? The salesman seemed to think it was a good idea. In fact, when he told her what she might expect for monthly payments, Nancy was thrilled. But don't hold me to that number, he cautioned. First, I need to check a few things with the business manager. The more Nancy thought about the loan, the better the idea seemed. It's a great deal and a great car, she said to herself, and I can still manage a monthly loan payment. Just then the salesman returned and interrupted her thoughts. Well, I've got good news and bad news, Nancy. What's the bad news, she asked. With your credit history, we're not going to be able to get you a low-cost loan of the type I was thinking about. We can probably arrange a loan, but it'll cost you more money than the number I gave you earlier. Nancy was puzzled. What could be wrong with my credit history, she wondered. I didn't even know I had one. Types of credit. What is credit? Credit is money that a lender makes available to a borrower with the understanding that the borrower will repay the money in the future. And again, we talked about interest before, and interest are fees charged by the lender on money borrowed. Understanding how credit works for you and against you can help you build a strong financial plan. The basis of credit for consumers. Like Nancy, you will almost certainly need or want to use credit at some point in your life. One day you'll want to purchase something such as a house, a car, or a college education for which it's difficult to save the entire amount. Used properly, credit can make it possible for you to purchase these things. Used unwisely, credit can wreak havoc on your financial life. Therefore, it's essential that you know about the major types of credits, the advantages and disadvantages of each, and about the laws that protect your rights to get credit. The importance of establishing good credit. We all need to use credit at some point. In most cases, we'll use it for big ticket items. Big ticket purchases include buying a car or a house. You might also take out loans for other purposes. And as you'll see, if you fail to establish credit, you might find it harder to get a loan. However, it's critical that you establish good credit and monitor your credit. Good credit can save you a lot of money over your lifetime. Borrowers with good credit pay lower interest rates on loans because the lender views them as more likely to repay the loan. Insurance companies also monitor your credit. Customers with good credit are less likely to submit claims, so they get lower insurance rates. Companies may also check your credit history before offering you a job. The thought is that if you can't manage your own credit, how can you manage a job? Many financial firms will not hire you if you don't have a good credit history. Types of credit. Credit for consumers such as Nancy and you come in many forms, but they fall into one of 3 categories: non-installment, installment, or revolving or open-end credit. Non-installment credit is credit extended for a short term, such as 30 days or less. The consumer borrows money at the time of the purchase and pays off the entire amount within a short period. Non-installment credit is typically issued by department stores, furniture stores, or other businesses selling items that cost several hundreds of dollars. Its purpose is to encourage immediate purchase of specific items. You may see advertisements that says 30 days, same as cash, which describes a non-installment credit agreement. The ad means the store is willing to lend you the purchase price for 30 days. If you paid off within that time, the purchase price is the same as if you've paid cash. This type of credit may be useful to a person expecting to receive money soon enough to repay the amount borrowed. An example might be a person expecting an income tax refund. Most non-installment credit will not incur interest charges if paid within the allotted amount of period of time. So if you pay within the time period, you usually do not have to pay any type of interest. Installment credit, on the other hand, is also used for specific purchases, but it allows the borrower more time to repay the money. Installment loans typically require the borrower to make monthly payments. Part of each payment goes to reduce the principal. The principal is the total amount of money outstanding on the loan. Monthly payments also include interest charges. That is, the lender charges interest each month on the unpaid principal. So if you have an unpaid principal of $100, the lender will charge you agreed upon percentage of that $100 in interest. Installment loans may span a few years and are typically used for purchases such as lawn tractors, furniture, boats, and other big-ticket items. Note that using installment credit does make the purchase of these items more costly. Let's take a look at cash versus finance. If I bought a car for $3,000 and I paid cash, I pay $0 in interest. If I take that same amount of cash, that $3,000, and finance it for 12 months at 12%, I'm making 12 payments of $266.55. I will pay a total amount of $3,198.60. So again, here is my interest on that amount of money for 12 months. If I take the same $3,000 and double the number of months that I'm going to take out that loan for, 12%, I'm going to make 24 payments at $141.22, and you can see how I'm going to pay $389.29 in interest over those 24 months. Then again, if I take that same amount of money and finance it for 36 months or 3 years, the same amount, my payments are going to be $99.64. But again, over that 3-year period of time, I'm going to pay interest of $587.04. And people might be interested in paying on a car for 36 months because they can afford a monthly car payment of roughly $100 rather than $266. So again, it just depends what your situation is. Revolving open-end credit cards or credit such as credit cards allows consumers to borrow up to some preset maximum amount, such as $1,000, $2,000, and so forth. The credit limit is established based on the borrower's income level, debt level, and overall credit record. So a lot of times you may get a credit card that you start and your maximum amount would be $1,000, but as you've proved that you can pay off that credit card every month, or you are liable for paying off that credit card, Sometimes that $1,000 credit limit goes up to $5,000 or $10,000 or so forth. Consumers can use revolving credit to make one purchase or many. They can repay the entire amount borrowed at the end of the month or spread payments over a longer period of time. As they pay off the money borrowed in the past, they continue to use a credit card to make additional purchases as long as they do not exceed their credit limit. So again, the best example of this is your credit cards. And again, your credit limit is the preset maximum amount that you can borrow. Every credit card has a maximum amount that you can borrow against. Let's take a look at your math for personal finance. Barbara owed $2,300 to buy some furniture and is paying 15% interest a year for the loan. The terms of the loan do not require her to pay off any of the loan balance during the first year. She only has to make the interest payments. How much interest will she pay the first year if she does not reduce the principal of the loan? Remember, the principal of the loan is the $2,300. So the solution, you would take the $2,300 times 15%, and you will see that she pays $345 in interest the first year. That is just for the use of the money. She will still owe the $2,300. This is just the interest for using the money. Advantages. There are certain advantages and disadvantages of using credit, and we're going to take a look at the advantages first. Should Nancy use the credit card or credit to buy her car, there are obvious advantages and disadvantages. And again, we're going to take a look at the advantages. Credit helps you make large purchases sooner than you would if you had to save the entire purchase price in advance. Nancy has been saving for quite some time, yet she still does not have enough to buy her car outright. With credit, Nancy just may be able to purchase the car that she wants and needs. Using credit also simplifies your finances by eliminating the need to carry cash or checks. For example, you can use credit to buy gasoline and pay for an entire month's purchase in a single monthly bill. Using credit wisely can help you establish a good credit history, which makes it less expensive for you to use credit in the future. Your credit history is your person's record of using credit. And again, a good credit history can make it less expensive for you to use credit in the future. Nancy wishes she knew this before trying to buy her new car. Her lack of credit history meant that she was not eligible for the lowest available rates. Let's take a look at another math problem. Harlan used his credit card, a form of revolving open-end credit, to charge 3 tanks of gas this month. If his charges were $43.12, $51.87, and $38.35, how much should he pay at the end of the month? The answer to this always is to pay the bill in full. If he pays the $133.34, he will not have to pay interest on this money. Next, we're going to take a look at some disadvantages of using credit. It is often easier to get credit than to repay it. If you borrow too much money, you may have difficulty making payments, with disastrous results. Just as a good credit history may mean lowering borrowing costs, a bad credit history can make borrowing more costly or impossible. If you borrow money to buy a house or a car and you fail to make payments, you could lose your possessions and all the money you've invested in them. A representative of the bank or a business from which you borrowed the money can literally take away the car or remove you from the house. Then the lender can sell the car or the house and keep the money. Finally, failure to pay off loans can lead to bankruptcy. This is a legal process in which the court takes over certain aspects of a person's financial life. It is not a good situation at all. Credit cards pose a special danger. They tempt us to purchase things today that we would be wiser to save and pay for later in full. In addition, credit card interest rates are usually very high, so it's extremely costly to carry a credit card balance from one month to the next. In most cases, it's wisest to use credit cards only for purchases you plan to pay off when the bill comes in, before the interest charges add up. Bear in mind that if you borrow just $3,000 in credit card that charges 21% interest annually and paid only the required minimum every month, it'll take you almost 23 years to pay off the balance. What if you borrowed any more? This is where you can get into trouble. Math for personal finance. Again, Sabrina charges $800 at the local sporting goods store to buy some exercise equipment. The store offers no interest for 90 days if the balance is paid in full, or 24% annually if the balance is not paid in full prior to the 90 days. How much interest will she need to pay if she lets the account go for 91 days before paying the bill? So again, she's not paying it within the first 90 days, so she has to pay interest on that entire amount for that period of time. So your solution to figure that out, she will pay 2% a month since the annual rate is 24. And again, you take 24% divided by 12 months a year, and you come up with 2%. At 91 days, you will owe for 3 months. 91 days is 3 months. 3 months times the 2% we figured out right above there is 6% interest. Therefore, her interest will be $800 times 6% is $48. So if she would have paid at day 90, she wouldn't have had to pay any interest. But since she blew the opportunity, she has to pay $48 in interest. Let's take a look at a little situation here. How much will it cost you if you pay $200 a month for a credit card bill of $8,000 at 15% interest rate? So say that we owe $8,000 on our credit card. The interest rate is 15% a year, and we decide that it's time to start paying it off. I'm going to pay off $200 a month and see how long it takes. What comes in really handy is this credit card calculator. So I'm going to click on this. We're going to go to the website that it's connected. You can see it's a credit card payoff calculator. We said our credit card balance was $8,000. The interest rate was 15%. And we decide we're going to pay $200 a month. So I'm going to calculate it, and you can see that it's going to take me 56 months or 4 years to pay it off. When I'm all done paying it off, the total amount of interest that I'm going to pay is $3,159. So for every dollar over that 56 months, every dollar that I'm spending 72 cents to pay off my bill and 28% for interest. So you can see how it's going to take some time to get this bill paid off. That's going to say as long as you don't purchase any more items on that credit card bill.